Hi everybody, I'm Zach. I'm here streaming my unboxing of my recent Demon Dice Dragon Dice order. This will be my first set of Demon Dice, so I'm really excited to get this underway and see what it's all about. I've been wanting to get into the game a little bit, but it's not as popular as Dragon Dice, so I'm afraid I'm not going to find people to play with. And then news came out that it wasn't going to be produced anymore in the future. So I was like, oh, I've got to get some Demon Dice going on. Apparently their stocks are still really high, but uh, yeah, I mean, if you're interested, you got to get on it. I say it's a recent order, but I ordered it right when I think it's DenCon started or something. And so uh, it's been sitting. I had to wait a bit for the order to come in because SFR is a small company. And if you're going to make an order around the time that they're going to be at a convention and you're not minding the social media, you might end up waiting a little bit, but you'll get your order for sure. And then I waited months to get to this unboxing because I wanted to record it and stream it and all of that good stuff. Because I was really excited about getting Demon Dice, but I've just been so busy I haven't been able to get to it. So without further ado, let's see what we've got here. We've got some Dragon Dice in here as well, but some kind of basic Dragon Dice stuff. We've got Elemental Dragons. I've got one of each for the Elemental Dragons, which will round off my collection for two of each, and three of most of the hybrids, most of the elementals. So I'm really excited about that, but that's not any tiered rarity. Those are all what they are. Looks like we've got some Deadlands here. It's not my first set, but I wanted to pick up another green ink set before they stop selling them because all of the Deadlands in the new minor terrain boxes have white ink. And so I wanted at least two sets of the green ink Deadlands to match my undead, and then another white dragon to round off two whites. And so that'll be fun. And then I hadn't gotten a set of new army cards yet, so I was like, oh, it's time to get some army cards, try out a 3-player game. I haven't done that yet either, so still a lot of Dragon Dice adventure left to be had. We can set these aside for a moment, and I'll unpack those and pack them into their little bin here. And get to the exciting part, the Demon Dice. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I'm a little overwhelmed. Now, let's see, who did we want to open first? We wanted to open the starter set. Always interested, and I think almost everybody is when you're going to get into a game, what's in the starter. I'm opening that delicately because I want to preserve the box. I have a collection of Dragon Dice boxes for all my Dragon Dice. Let's see here. Alrighty. That's it. And I like to keep at least one mint box just for my collection, my archiving, which is pretty silly. We've got instructions. I've already read through these. These are available. If you go onto Tabletopia, they have a virtual Demon Dice. And I tried, but virtual dice for me are really hard to learn with for some reason. I need the physical dice. For some reason, it just doesn't work. I can learn with a PDF for rules, but as far as the, let's see, who do we've got here for demons? We've got some tentacles, a claw, a tail for our frost. See, couple feet. Oh my goodness. So I'm excited because now I might be able to use the Tabletopia version if I take the time. Some spikes, a tail, couple tails. This is an interesting Frost Demon. An eye. Good. Good to have an eye, but no brain? Nope. And a stinger. It's got a shell. Good. Some lungs and an eye. The eye has a ray, I think? That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah, we've all got to take the time sometime to learn. I don't know, it's hard. All of us have different like learning requirements. Like for me, our Rot Demon has a brain, spikes. Love the spikes. Tentacle, and I think some of can be, at least in my case, pretty arbitrary. More spikes. A mouth. That's good. It's going to be a blood-sucking Rot Demon. Or whatever, essence-sucking. Some more spikes. Lots of spikes. Still a couple shells. A brain. Couple tails. And a tentacle. And a stinger. Similar demons, but very different in some ways. Yep. Alrighty. Who are we going to get on to next? Stench. So now there's an appropriate way to do unboxing, and that was not it. So I think it came up in the Dragon Dice Facebook group. Tiffany was like, that's not how you do it. So I think it's supposed to go something like this. Oh. Ooh. And don't lose your dice like that. Now I've got some work to do. Goodness gracious. That works. So who do we got? We've got the rules for a Stench Demon. Oh, it's the same insert for all the demons. All the special rules are on one. Cool. Jeez Louise, I'm going to have to find that Stench guy. It's gone missing on me. Alrighty, we got a mouth, some lungs, more lungs, tentacle, shell, spikes, claw, or what is that? Ooh, I don't even know now. I'm confused. Let's find out real quick so I'm not saying the wrong thing. It's wings. Haha. Is there a claw? Nope. Gotcha. Cool. So wings, neato, spikes, feet, tail, stinger. One moment, I'm going to see if I can find that last dice real quick. I'm back. Found the last demon dice. It was a brain. Sorry about that, everybody. Alrighty. So, on to the blood demon. Who do we have here? Let's see. Alrighty. Blood demon has wings, feet, a shell, a mouth, feet, a brain, multiple brains, an eye, tentacles, shell, spikes, mouth, and a shell. Interesting. Very cool. Yeah, I love that blood demon. That's the one that I want to use. I don't know. Conceptually, from what I understand about the rules, that's the one that I'm interested in carrying on with. Also, the Wraith Demon. Very interested in using a Wraith Demon, so very excited about this. See if I can do it a little less destructively this time. Yeah. Cool. I like having multiple mouths on my blood demon. I don't know about the brain or the eye, but that might be useful. Alrighty, let's see what we got for our Wraith Demon. We've got a stinger, bring that up. Oh, lighting's decent. I don't have to worry about that. 2 stingers. Oh my goodness. It's going to phase in and out and sting ya. Has a tail, some spikes, another stinger. Woo! Triple stinger. Wings. Nice. A shell. A tail. Another stinger. 4 stingers. Oh. Spikes. A mouth. An arm. An eye. And another shell. Interesting. Interesting. A lot of stingers on that Wraith demon. That's cool. Cool. Yeah, I love them. Those demons are really fun. I was thinking of like making a little 3D printed custom container that was like a cross between a lament configuration and like a Pokeball, and kind of just rip both off to like contain my demon in. Because the concepts kind of cross. They're both like gateway situations based around objects. So I think it's really, really fun overlap. But yeah, I love these demons. I can't wait to practice some. Hopefully get decent and challenge people online, and see if I can find some people on the Discord or on the Facebook that want to webcam games, and then hopefully get some of those up and have them out there. That would be really cool. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna be sorting these dragons, and I was just gonna I think go off about this big order that I had for a little while and how that came to be, and kind of like where I'm at with Dragon Dice after being in the community for a while. So I sold a really rare dice for $300. It's a really great deal. That's why it's always got my green. Oh, let's see, Swamp Stalker Dragon here. Ooh, these guys are gonna be tricky to get out. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Coral Elf Dragon. They're all gonna go in the green bin, and that's gonna set me with 3 of each elemental, and then 2 of each of the rest. And then I turned around and spent all the money from the dice I sold on more dice, which was ridiculous. But like, how do you get like the really, really rare dice that are worth like $300? You kind of gotta travel and show up. Like, my best bet was going to Gen Con and volunteering, because like I don't know if it was the Hukava or the White that came out with the book Army of the Dead, but I got the other one by volunteering, and that's not even available yet. So that dice is pretty yeah. Hey, Meridak. Pretty hard to get right now. You're not really going to get a hold of that. Glow in the dark. Either Hukava or White, unless you volunteer. I can't remember. One of them you can if you go get the book, and it's glorious. I got one of each because I'm obsessed. But I still haven't even read Army of the Dead yet. I'm still working, I'll be honest, through Cast of Fate. But I've read Ashes of Ilusharai and Rise and Fall of the Obsidian Grotto, both multiple times. Ooh. Dwarf Drake. Hey, Meridak, isn't that your Drake? The Tree Folk. Oh, I started putting them in the wrong bin. These were yellows. And the Feral. Earth Dragons. Yeah, yeah. Dwarves for the win. Indeed, I agree. Dwarves are so mighty in so many ways. And they have such a good lore as a fantasy being. I really, from J.R.R. Tolkien's work through like all the TSR stuff and all of that, they maintain some really high integrity. I think, like even in Warhammer, the squats have like a place of honor. They don't come out with every release. Oh, here we go. The fire dragons. We got the fire worms. My scalder worm. Oh, I could have used this guy all year. Oh, the lava elf worm. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Dwarf Fortress is a pretty good game. There's parts about it I don't like because, like, the only way to really connect with the community is to reach out and, like, tell your stories, and that's a lot of work. Like, I remember I just edited that stream, and it was like a 6 hour, 12-minute long stream, and that was capital FUN to edit, I tell ya. Oh, man. The dead dragons. Dead hybrids. Yeah, I can tell the difference between the blue and the green. But like Dragon Dice is just so much better because it's social, but then it can be difficult to find games unless you're actively participating in the tournaments. And that's all right. I don't know. It's not actually difficult to find games if you're willing to play in every format online. There's tons of webcam games. There's always somebody that's like, if you're like, I want to play a webcam game, I haven't seen many of those requests go absolutely unresponded to. So I haven't played Dwarf Fortress since I got back into Dragon Dice. I was like 11 when it came out, and then TSR sold to Wizards of the Coast, who then sold to Hasbro. And I was like, that's the end. I couldn't even look for Cast of Fate after that because I was like, that's the end of Dragon Dice, the other Death Dragons. And I gave up for like almost 23 years or something. Then a few years ago, it was Dwarf Fortress. I was in college before that, I guess. Before I even found Dragon Dice again, I was in college, and the one link I had left to Fantasy Realms was Dwarf Fortress. I still had Dwarf Fortress always on my computer since I first found out about it, like many years ago. At least I want to say 9 years ago. I think it's been longer. And like after the Lord of the Rings movies came out, I was pretty sure, because I had invested so much in that world, I was pretty sure, I'm like, I think I'm done with fantasy, because now everybody's going to think they know what's in the Lord of the Rings, and they have no idea who Tom Bombadil is. It's really frustrating. I'm not going to have space for my blue dragons. I just noticed in this organizer that the blue or the side spaces are smaller, which works for my ivories and white dragons, but it does not work for my blue dragons. Oh no. Maybe I'll have to put my ivory blue dragons in with my ivory and white dragons. Oh well. It's a new organizer. But yeah, so it was in college that I kept up with Dwarf Fortress. Then I got really sick. I have cyclical vomiting syndrome. So occasionally I just start vomiting uncontrollably for no reason. Then I go to the hospital. Let's see. Oh, that's not right. These are air dragons. Can you spot the mistake? I'll give you a moment. Oh, it's really hard to tell. Yeah. So these are air dragons, but that dragon is actually earth and water. It's a tree folk dragon. Pretty sure. Where's the other? Yeah, I mean, because when I put it next to an air and earth dragon, you can clearly see the difference. So I'm actually missing an air and earth dragon. This set of blue worms was mispackaged. That's all right, though. I almost guarantee. Yep. Yep, you got it. That if I reach out to them, they'll replace that. Not a problem. But that's an interesting mistake. I'm glad I caught that before I started popping them out. That's pretty funny. Oh, where was that? That was in my yellows. Cool. I'm going to set that aside for now. That's cool. We can deal with that later. It's not a big deal. Not so pedantic that I have to put everything away right now. Alrighty, we got green worms. Another swamp stalker worm. Yes. Yep. So then after college, I got really sick with my cyclical vomiting syndrome, and eventually I was like really, really sick, and I had to just find something else to do with my time. And Dwarf Fortress came up again. I was like, I'm going to delve in and start making a fortress. And the fortress I started that day, I think it was Kruggsmash on YouTube. I watched his tutorial, and I was like, oh, that's it. We're getting back into it. And I still, to this day, that fortress is still operational. It's a pretty good one. But then playing Dwarf Fortress made me miss like social aspects. So then I started looking into D&D. Okay, we got some good air drakes right here. And role playing, because I did that when I was younger, but not since I was like 19 or something. And so I started doing that, DMing for my kids and my partner, and that was a really grand time. And then in that process, I was like looking for original D&D. I wanted to get that feel, because I played second edition and first edition, or no, excuse me, not second edition. I played third edition D&D. That was when I was 18. And then like a couple weeks later, I found a DM who was just this homeless guy named Bobcat, and he was DMing in the park, and he took us on this grand adventure in like first edition, and he had the book, and he did all the rolls for us and everything. And I really loved that adventure. He was such a great DM. So like my whole entire time getting back into D&D was like digging back into TSR, and then I stumbled across Dragon Dice. I was like, oh, I loved that when I was a kid. That's it. I can't handle it. I'm gonna resin cast a replacement set, so at least I have a proxy army to work with, and I can just do the factions I want or whatever. And so I started looking on eBay for one of each set so I could resin cast them. And I found out that SFR was around. I was like, oh no. And then like 18 or whatever, 19 years that I had, or it was more than that, because they had started, maybe it was like 18 or 19 years. I don't know when SFR started off the top of my head. I'd have to look that up again. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't believe I missed supporting this company for so long. That's really embarrassing. But glad to do it now. Holy mackerel. And I agree. Kruggsmash is one of the most passionate content creators I have ever seen. I watch a lot of like indie animation and indie creators trying to kick it out there. And Kruggsmash, he found his focus, which was building the forts. And that guy, he's just so passionate about doing what he does. I don't know, and it's really refreshing. I think we all like to see like some form of excellence, not like when I'm on stream and my green screen falls down. That's pretty silly. But I think we all have days like that or moments like that, no matter how much we prepare. Earthworms? Earthworms. Earth hybrid worms. Yeah, no, I've been watching Kruggsmash for years now. I love that guy. He's put so much into his videos. I haven't seen anybody quite like. It's really hard to put effort into Dwarf Fortress videos, I tell you. But even like I guess he had his wife coloring the things, and that's still a ton of work he was doing. He was working so hard. Sweet. Well, that's it. That's Demon Dice. I gotta say something. I guess that's the breaks. I can't even imagine what it would be like being overseas and having this mistake come at because they would want to replace it so bad. And I'm almost sure they'd go through all the steps, but geez, that's you like I've shipped through customs before and it's a nightmare. I haven't done it. I haven't done it successfully ever. So that's a thing. Oh man, yep. Darn. Oh well. Yeah, and these demons, holy mackerel. We're gonna have to really figure this one out here. This is if it's shorter than Dragon Dice, that's great because we have in my house we can have Dragon Dice battles that go on for hours, and that could just be a little much. I think it happens sometimes to everybody if they get into like, even a 36-point game. If the armies are relatively well balanced or the players are just a little too conservative in their strategies, they can end up taking forever. And it gets to be like a little not fun after a certain point, I think. After like 2.5 hours if you're not expecting it, but like 100-point games, I'd expect it. That's something I'm looking forward to. I wish I had a little more free time because I'd challenge somebody to a 100-point game. I think the best forum for that would be a play-by-post, and I haven't seen one of those go on Discord since I've been on Discord. And it's something that like I'm like, oh, we gotta somehow get a play-by-post game that's pretty big going on Discord so that people can see how that's done and get an idea, because you can really take your time to strategize when you're just like taking a picture of the board state and then be like, all right, it might be a day before I make my move. There's a Slack League for Dragon Dice that is pretty much defunct now, and I really miss that. You know, there's like, I think sometimes a battle going on, but they're not calling distance chess. Yeah, I think if it's shorter, that's going to be a godsend. Anything that takes less time but gives me that statistical analysis that I seek. Oh, distance chess. You're talking about customs. Yeah. Um. Oh. Are you talking? Yeah, distance chess. You to play by post. There's an example. I wish I had it up. But there's Game Room 1 and Game Room 2 in the Discord, and that's the example. Is that, yeah? I think it's the same thing. Correspondence games or what we call that. Yep. They've done that forever. They've done that with Go and chess. Yep. Sorry, it took me a moment there. It's amazing how passionate people are about gaming. It's fundamentally changed the course of human history time and time again. Yep. 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 The play piece and the coordinates. Yep. There's I it's just amazing. Um, it's amazing where we're at technologically that we can have like a visual or virtual game board and then all connect over like Discord or whatever to play live. That is, we're just spoiled to a certain degree nowadays because we don't need to be wealthy aristocrats to send the mail out those long distances and get to have that competition that you so strongly desire because you can't get it locally. Yeah. Oh, gaming. A wonderful thing, also a thing of great fear for the moral panickers. It's come up time and time again in history that they're like, oh, games are bad. People who play games are bad. There was a long time, I guess, where it was just games of chance were played in dark alleys, and then like the only official sanctioned game by the Catholic Church, the time of the Catholics or whatever in the Dark Ages, where it was just all they had access to was a race game called the Game of the Goose. And I've played that. That's yeah, played by Vigid. I've played renditions of of the Goose, and that is such a silly game. I can't believe that for a while there they let the moral panic get to them to the point where that's all that was really allowed, and like people who played games of chance were sinners or gamblers or whatever. And people have preserved like some really amazing game history just in spite of all that. It's kind of amazing. Uh, there's always stuff being written. There's a new book. I wanted to just like finish up with this last thing that I heard about, but there's a new book out um, that goes over the history of TSR, and I wish I knew what it was off the top of my head. But I want to get it so bad just to see exactly where the company was at from somebody's unbiased perspective, interviewing all the insiders or whatever during the collapse of TSR, because I guess it was really interesting how much that was waiting to happen. And I think people in Wizards of the Coast take for granted how much Hasbro buoys them, and that people in Games Workshop take for granted, you know, sometimes, I don't know, I think they pay it, they directly pay it, but like how much that company has strong armed its way to success, because there's tons of companies that would just love to sink them at any given moment. But Games Workshop's really fought to hang on there. It's funny. Um, and then on a smaller scale, like SFR is kind of in and of its operation, a middle finger to everything I learned in micro and macroeconomics business class in college. Um, because they're, for all intents and purposes, the production level to get this quality of product overseas and distributed really shouldn't be able to be handled by a company as small as SFR is, and they really spoil us and keeping us in fresh dice and keeping them being produced. It's really sad to see that Demon Dice probably isn't going to continue to get carried on, but as we're like seeing with Dragon Dice, there's still a saturation both in the new and collectible market. Like you can find Dragon Dice on eBay all day long, huge collections that aren't worth it, that people are charging way too much because you can buy them new. So the world's saturated with Dragon Dice. I really love that thought that deep in the future, maybe some species is going to come along and find the archaeological layer where humans were, and they're going to dig around and they're going to find these polyhedrals, and they're going to figure out their own rule system probably because the paper isn't going to last. But I've been thinking a lot about getting my Dremel out and starting to engrave in stone, or even like the Sumerian tablets in clay. You know, if you do like a cob tablet or something and put it in the right conditions, it can preserve as long as stone. But yeah, like engraving stone with a rule set, but it would still take translation. So you'd need to do a Rosetta Stone. Yep. Anywho, thank you everybody for joining me on stream, and I hope I wasn't too boring. Oh yeah, the game of yeah, the Mesopotamian game. Yep. I I I can't. I don't know. Like I've seen it, but I don't know how good the rules are. That's the thing about Dragon Dice with the 4.0 rules. Like, geez, when I was a teenager, I got together with another friend who had a set of Dragon Dice, and we both had enough to play, and we tried to play, but I was like 11 and he was 11, and between us, like, we had all the resources, we had a little access to the internet, you know, uh, on our library computers with Windows 95 and the dial-up, and we couldn't agree because the correspondence on the internet in those days was still too slow. So we had a conflict where we couldn't get out of, and we never played Dragon Dice again. That was so disappointing to me. But like the rules for 4.0 Dragon Dice are extraordinary. Um, in comparison, they're really concise, and even if you have an argument, we're very fortunate now technologically that we can reach out and like get an answer from Chuck Pine himself. We're spoiled. Yeah, 95. Oh my, I love it. Yep. I miss them, and not in the same way, because when I realize how spoiled we are, I'm like, yeah, we got it made. We got it made now. If only we can just like keep it together. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining me, and sorry for my bad picture quality here. There's a little bit of latency because I had to use my webcam to do the unboxing. I hope you all have a great evening, and we'll catch you later.